Hey, thank you so much for joining the Straight Up Show podcast. I am Calvin, and I have my two co-hosts with me and two co-creators, Lee and Brandon. How you guys doing?
Sup? It's all good.
Well,
Okay, thank you so much. And here, Straight Up, we just basically want everybody to be straight up from a number of topics to where social issues, somewhat political issues, and just kind of we want to be the voice of the voiceless of everybody. So that's kind of what we're doing here on the show and what the show is just about. And on today's show, we're going to talk about dating and kind of get dating tips. I want to get dating tips from my co-host and our special co-host, or our guest today, actually, Christina. And Christina used to be a panelist on Straight Up. So please help me welcome Christina. Christina?
Hello.
All right, Christina, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, I want to thank you so much for serving our country. You did serve in the military. I want to thank you so much for all the sacrifice you've done for us and our country and our safety. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I want to thank you so much for being one of my favorite panelists on the show. On the TV version, Straight Up. I want to thank you so much for that because you gave you were one of the best on the show. So thank you so much. Without you on the show, Straight Up probably wouldn't be as successful as it was.
Oh, keep going. Keep better.
See, do y'all see already why she's one of our favorites? Because she's a character. So we thank you so much, Christina. And like I said, on today's episode, we're going to talk about just kind of dating tips. I'm going to kind of talk to the guys and the girl, plural. I meant singular. My bad. See, about his dating tips and kind of just plug their heads and kind of talk to them and trying to see what I can do, what I'm doing wrong right now, and just to get things started off. Not to put you guys on, I guess, the front, but Brandon's about to get married, and Lee, he is married, and I'm not for sure what your status is, Christina, but you can fill us in a little later. But, with everything going on right now, I've basically had flings most of my life. I've never had what they consider a Facebook official girlfriend. I probably had one, but mostly it's been just flings. And so now I'm 30 and I've been in college most of my 20s. So it's just different now. And I see all my friends having kids and having babies or same thing, but having babies and getting married, and some of my friends on their second divorce. And it's just I feel the pressure that, I have to do those things soon because I'm getting older and, you want to leave your legacy behind. And so it's just, I'm at the point to where I'm done with college. I have a nice house, nice car, nice whatever, doing good. And I'm like, well, I have no one to share that with. And it's just empty. Is there something maybe that y'all can relate to? Maybe Christina, or do you see what I'm saying now? Or you're kind of the same age as I am. Do you feel the same pressure too, or?
I won't call it a pressure. I'm just kind of, if it happens, it happens. I think if you're focusing on it too much, it makes it a bigger deal. You're probably doing fine.
Yeah, and like I said, and if you don't have to answer this, but what's your status right now?
I'm single.
Okay, I'll have to talk to you after the show. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm just want to paint a picture to you guys. So like I said, there's the pressure of. I think I'm focusing on it way too much, and I try not to because, you always hear, whatever happens. If the right person comes along, then whatever, and it's just well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but even right now we're going through COVID-19, and I kind of envy you, Brandon and Lee, because you both have someone to go home to every night.
Oh man, yeah. That's true. It's not all roses.
It's not really going home to every night as much as always being stuck at home with them.
Oh right, yeah. Even now,
At least right now.
Okay, well, like I said, I do envy y'all sometimes, but I know I'm pretty sure. It's not like living with a sister or a relative. Because living with a sister or a relative, it can be. I don't know if it's just like that. Maybe no, or
No, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It can be just like that.
It's situational, and that's kind of like what I want to get into.
Well, when you live with anyone for long enough, you're going to have some friction and some squabbles here and there. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And that's, whether it's a romantic partner or just a roommate.
Okay. Well, let's just dive right into it. Okay. So this is the issue I'm having. Is like I said, I have the pressure. I have the pressure, but recently, like I said, I was talking to someone, and COVID-19 has definitely affected that. And I'm not gonna put her out there, but her job does, require her to be around different people that might have COVID-19. So she wanted to end things, and she came over, hung out, and me, like I said, this person was much older than I was, maybe 10 years older than I was, and so I thought I had to look at this person differently, and thought because she's older that I have to be, I guess, more, mature, and so I didn't pressure her to try to date her or talk to her, and COVID-19 came to play, and she just thought that we shouldn't be around, and so. At this time, I'm thinking that, okay, maybe that's right, because even on our first initial date, I can make people laugh. I can make people even, people just joke around no matter what, kind of get them out their comfort zone. And this person just was not budging at all. And I know when I get really nervous, I talk a lot, hence the podcast. And so I felt myself being nervous. And then, one thing, and I say this publicly. I mean, I do believe there's a higher power. I do believe in God. But, so I prayed for my food. And, after the date was over with, we kind of chilled in her car and watched and listened to music. Like, in the midst of us talking, she cut me off and said, "Why are you praying?" I'm like, that offended her. I'm like, wow, I didn't think me praying for my food would be offensive. And so from there, things just started, it didn't click. And I just felt like I was the bad person because, I was doing everything to make her laugh. She wasn't interested, which I'm cool with that. But after the date, I kind of accepted, I think I called you after the date, Brandon. And I think I accepted the fact that she was not interested, and so I was going to move on. But then later, she had a good time and like wanted to hang out more. So I'm like, okay, what's the trick here? And so that's confusing. So I'm open the floor up to our guest today. Christina, what did I do wrong?
I don't think you did anything wrong. There's nothing to comment on. It's just a hiccup. Talking about as far as praying over your meal, I mean, you can do that if you please. It's fine. I mean, the highlight is that she would be willing to talk to you again afterwards. So I'd say it wasn't that big a deal. It's something that she probably was like, okay, well, that's his thing, not mine, but we can keep going past it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to continue the story, Christina, because it gets worse. Throwing the trash. We wanted to break down and stop for a second and kind of get your point and kind of see what you thought so far.
I will say that I agree, Christina. I pretty much said what you said. Like, I don't think he did anything wrong. It's just like, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I do have a question about the girl.
Okay.
Is she not from the South?
She's from the South. She's from the South.
Really? Because, man, I was like, that's hardcore praying over your food. That is how I was raised. And it's not something I do these days, but, man, that is so ingrained in me. I don't know how it was so foreign to her.
And the thing is, she is culturally different. So, I mean, that could be different, too. Even though she's from the South, her culture is different. So, I mean, that could play a factor, too. So, but I just did think I never had anyone be offended by me praying for my food. So, of course, and then just to even backtrack a little bit, even in talking to her, when you date somebody, you're trying to talk to somebody, you play 21 questions and, not ask her, hey, do you cook? And the question, Christina, is going to be for you. I asked her if she cooked, and she just went off on me, like just chewed me out. So, once again, Christina, can you tell me, or Lee or Brandon, tell me, did I do anything wrong by asking that? And did she have any right to go off on me just asking that simple question?
Okay, so my opinion on her right now is good. You can't talk to her anymore. Bad business. There's nothing wrong. Here's the thing. I have 6 sisters total, and I'm the
Okay.
youngest. So we all respond a little differently to this, but most of us don't find a problem with a man asking, "Do you cook?" Some women think it's sexist or misogynistic for them to say that. It's like that's just stupid. Man, that's just a conversation topic. Do you
Right.
cook? I could ask you the exact same question. Well, do you cook? It just depends on how it was led into. But I
Mm-hmm.
think as a woman, it is just an expectation to know how to cook or be familiar in the kitchen. I would probably say, I guess you can't cook then. But she gets upset and she's blowing up on you. Like she's saying, "Oh, you're a pig if you think I'm supposed to be cooking or you think I'm going to cook for you." Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. That's what she said. You think I'm supposed to cook for you?
That's going to be a woman who probably she might be able to cook, but she's probably going to want you to take her out to dinner or you to cook for her. Older or not, a woman is who she is by the time she turns like 16. In most cases.
Okay.
So
Well, that's scary a little bit, but
she's gonna cause some problems. I'm not even kidding.
oh,
I
the,
was
the, oh, well,
she's problematic already.
oh yeah, well, buckle in because there's more to the story. So like you said, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking, Christina. I shouldn't talk to this person. It's probably red flag. So she comes over because business wise, I had to deal with her. So I had to see her, and so we decided, and while we were doing business, she was getting off work at the same time, and so she came over, and we just had like a Netflix night, and I have a L-shaped couch, and so she's on one side, on the other side, and like I said, I don't really know her that well, so I'm not trying to pursue what I mean, the chill part of Netflix and chill. And but I'm keeping like arm's length distance away from her, and we're watching. She comes to my house. She gets basically. She drinks. I don't drink, and so we're watching this Netflix series or Hulu actually for 6 hours. I'm like, jeez. And so like, I didn't want to pursue anything, and I just like I did ask to cuddle. Said, "Do you want to cuddle or something?" And then she said no, and so I just left it at that. And fast forward maybe 6 hours later, it's 3 in the morning. I did the whole I'm gonna work tomorrow. And so I wasn't trying to pursue more or the chill part of it. And all of a sudden, I walk her outside, give her a hug, goodbye. And of course, I smell good. I mean, I'm wearing a Curve all day long, so she got a brisk smell of the Curve when I gave her a hug and my big, manly, giant arms in her. And then she drove away. And I guess I felt bad. You should let your friends drive drunk, but she wasn't really drunk. But she was okay to drive. And she texted me like as she was going home, I really wanted to stay the night. And I'm just like, well, you didn't say anything. And, I was really, maybe this won't work out. Maybe we should just be friends with benefits. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, well, if that's what you really wanted, I'm the type of person, like I said, this show is called Straight Up. Just be straight up. I can't read your mind. And so we tried it again the other day. She came over, off of work. She got insulted because I didn't ask her to stay and watch TV with me. And I'm like, well, I'm not a person that reads minds. So was I wrong for not pursuing the chill part? Basically having sex with her the same night? Or am I supposed to read her mind? She wants to be somebody with friends with benefits.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh about that.
I was like, I'm gonna give my fast opinion on this one. This isn't a right or wrong situation, and again, I don't like her. Don't talk to her. Problem. With a capital B. that's not something where the ball was never going to be in your court this whole time. I know probably about 10 years ago, somebody would have said, you should have kept trying. You should have invited her. But it's not a good time to be a man in this world, okay? So the ball's never going to be in your court again in that little relationship. Everything that happens with her would be up to her. And that's how you have to leave it. I'm not even going to say you should. That's how you have to leave it. Because if you say, hey, you want to stay the night, she would have gotten mad. And maybe she wouldn't have. Maybe she'd be like, yeah, and it could have progressed to something more intimate, should you want it to. But if she's not going to open her mouth and even kind of hint like, oh, I would like to stay, or anything that kind of give you something to go from, she has to lead you there. And for her to message you when she's already home or on the way home, oh, I really want to stay tonight. Like, well, why didn't you say something? You can ask her that. Like, you should have told me. You could have stayed. Like, you want the couch? You want the bed? What you want? But, again, okay. she's, I don't like her. She doesn't always around the bush person at all. And so I'll be like, no, you gotta go somewhere.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, see, once again, me and Christina pretty much had the same mindset when it comes to this. Especially, I mean, you haven't even gotten to that one part yet to where I'm like, I don't work like that. Like, I'm very oblivious to that type of stuff. And I've been in similar situations. And like she said, we just can't win most of the time in almost every situation, period. Oh my God, just talk about like, you know, about to be married. A man winning most fights is like, throw that out the water. So,
right.
You know.
It's just like you can't, and I'm glad you said it, Christina, because now I feel better because it's like, and I don't know if it's generational at all or what, but I'm like, I can't read your mind. Like, don't expect me to read your mind. I mean, I left the remote control in the refrigerator a lot of times, so I'm just like, my mind is not all there, you know. And dating women is just like a grizzly bear.
You can't just over there. You put the remote. See, that would be a in my household right there.
How else do you keep your remote controls fresh?
You gotta keep the batteries fresh, dog. No, I'm just kidding. It's a habit I've had since I was like 13.
Where is it?
Have you seen my size? Like, I mean, there's an obvious reason. I like to watch TV and eat. So, I mean, I'm mixing the two up somehow. And it happens a lot. And I don't know what's going on. I've had a lot of concussions in football, so I'm very forgetful and stuff. And just to add this on top of it, you know, you gotta leave me in the water sometimes, especially when it comes to dating. You gotta leave me in the water, and I'm that way. But with that being said, I couldn't read her mind, and then, like I said, Brandon kind of knows more about what happened. And you know, once again, this last time, she came over to do business with me, and you know, she was working previous, you know, clients, whatever, and she was saying her feet were hurting. I said, well, you can hang out and relax if you want to. And she was just like, no. And then I said, well, okay. So have you eaten anything? She said, no. So I said, okay. Well, I didn't pursue it. So I guess you're just ready to go home. I didn't say that. I'm taking that. She's ready to go home. So once again, she leaves my house. She says, why didn't you invite me to stay? And I was like, I did. I said, you can crash here if you want. She got mad about that. And then, you know, she said that it's not going to work out because this is what Brandon had to help me out with, because I'm sure I'm my age now, but she said, and me, I took it a whole different route. She said I was too vanilla. And Brandon, break down what that means.
Yeah, let me give you the Urban Dictionary of what vanilla is. Unexciting, normal, conventional, boring.
And it's me being, and the thing about it is, and this is my biggest issue about dating, is that I get that a lot. Like, am I wrong for not wanting to pursue sex with her so fast? Because that's what she wanted. She wanted me to pursue like sex immediately. And so I'm just like, well, I was thinking because you're older, you're not having that, you know, what we call it in Louisiana, especially in Shreveport, we call it ratchet lifestyle. And you can Google it. I'm not going to go over it. But I'm like, I'm not that way, anymore. And I don't want that. And so why can't I just try to get to know you and not have this like sex first mentality? I mean, I thought you were older. I thought you didn't want that, But is it wrong for me to assume that's what she wanted, or is it wrong for her to get mad at me for not pursuing it?
I don't think anyone's really in the wrong there. It's just the fact that you both seem to want different things.
Right.
And I'm like, and let me put myself in her shoes for a minute, because I'm just as guilty of this.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she was having trouble making up her mind on this as to what she wanted from you. And like I said, I'm just as guilty of this. I'll like agree to something, and then halfway through, I'm like, no, I don't want this.
Right.
And yeah, it makes relationships hard for me, so I can't imagine it being easy for her.
And like I said, I just, I'm trying to turn.
You know what? I'm gonna be with an answer. There is no right and wrong, and I'm gonna talk to Leland about this part. What you were saying is, you'll agree to something, but you're totally not sure all the time if that's what you want, so you kind of go back and forth or something. Is that what you meant?
Right.
Okay. And I think a lot of people are like that, and it's not a bad quality at all. It does make it hard to communicate certain things, because sometimes you're just nervous about it. You're like, I don't want to do the wrong thing. So as far as Calvin's friend goes, she wanted you to be more assertive. You weren't as assertive so much as not you. There's no vanilla really when it comes to dating. Vanilla is only on that other level. It's like that term shouldn't even matter. Talk to each other. She didn't know that, or she knew what she wanted you to be, and you weren't doing those things, so y'all weren't going to be compatible. Girl, you took these games. You're playing with me. Anyway.
That's not Calvin. The issue is, and he hasn't. Calvin, I mean, do you want to tell them what the type of guy she's looking for is? Because when he told me this, I was like, oh, abort. Back out. Oh, yeah. This is the issue right here.
And then, because me, when I date someone, I kind of show, and this should be bad, but I show my poker face. And I don't think that's everybody. Everybody shows their poker face. We won't really show you who the real person is until you actually get into the relationship. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is that true, Brandon and Lee? I mean,
well, with me, it's kind of hard, especially in college, and Christina should know this. I try to show me as much as possible, because I can be very dramatic. I can be very outgoing. I can be very, me. And I need somebody to be able to handle that. So, but there are times where I'm like, okay, I don't need to, scare this person away. But then again, I have to be me. So it's like, you kind of battle with that. But at the end of the day, you should always be you. And that's the conclusion I pretty much always came to.
And Lee, did that change for you when you dated and got married? Did that change, or did you give a little and then show a little and then gave a lot, or what?
Kind of, yeah. To me, dating was almost a job in that, yes, I'm presenting myself, but it's a version of myself I want this person to see, especially on that first. But as you continue dating, the relationship blooms. Yeah, they're going to see more sides of you, and yeah, they're going to see more of the darker sides of you. That's a fun thing to navigate, let me tell you. Especially after you get married, you're locked down. And oh, there are parts of myself that don't gel well with the relationship, but I'm learning how to navigate those things so I can make the relationship work. And I mean, even on that first date, there's so much work there you have to do. I mean, both of you, and that's what it all boils down to is that very first impression, first date. I'm like, me and my husband got married back in 2014. And we were on, let's see, we dated for about 2 years before that. So, I mean, we kind of waited a while to really figure out, hey, do we want to spend all of this time with each other? Is each of us the person that's going to kind of counterbalance the good and bad parts of the person? And hey, we're still married 5 years on now, so I think we've made it work.
Yeah, you said 5 years?
Yep.
Congratulations. Wow, has it been 5 years?
Dude, it doesn't feel like 5 years. Freak.
I know, right?
Man.
So happy when you got married. You don't even understand. I was like, oh.
Oh, do you have time for a quick story about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got married in Colorado back in 2014 because that was the state closest to us that allowed for gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 months later, June 2015, gay marriage became legally on a federal level. So we could have just waited a little while and done it in our home state.
But hey, it was an early honeymoon, right? So,
yeah, Colorado is beautiful. Can't recommend it enough.
wow.
It's the goal out there for me.
Well, definitely, we want to congratulate you on 5 years. I think we all remember when you got married. So I mean, that's just making us feel really old right now.
Right.
So yeah, definitely congratulations on the 5 years, and thank you for just telling us that. But to get back to the whole thing, the whole story, is that so? You know, I started to feel that she was trying her best to get away from the relationship. There was none there, and definitely, like, I was out of the whole situation at the first date. You know, when you didn't laugh at my jokes, oh, excuse me, I'm the next Eddie Murphy. You know, and you didn't laugh at none of my jokes. I'm like, hold up, you know, it just did make me feel like she was interested. So I just didn't want to pursue it at all. But she, like I said, business wise, you know, we have to deal with each other. And so just if you come over to my house, you know, I want to be a gentleman and say, hey, you want something to eat? You know, I'm not going to kick you out. And so she felt unwelcome. So this is the part. So, you know, culturally, she is Hispanic. I am African American. So I was thinking that this is where the vanilla part confused me, because I get this often dating, like, especially when it's, you know, and we're going to have a show about interracial dating, but especially with me trying to do interracial dating, I get called, or especially where I grew up at, is that I get called vanilla because I speak a certain way. And they say, well, I told you in my video that, you know, I often get not confused, but I also battle with being too white for black people and then too black for white people. And so they'll call me vanilla or Oreo, or, you know, so I've been attacked by that. So when she said vanilla, that's what I was thinking. And so I said, well, I just came out with it and said, hey, I don't think it's going to work out because I think you want a certain type of black guy. I think that you want a thug and guy with dreadlocks, or and nothing wrong with that at all. But I think that's what she thought I was, because I mean, I'm 6'1", you know, 200 plus pounds, and I'm thinking that she just thought because I'm this big guy, that's who I am. But if anybody knows me, I'm this big, you know, nice guy. And so I said, well, I guess that's what you want. Christina and Lee, this is what her response was. You're completely wrong. That's not the kind of guy I want. I want a guy who is into history, the History Channel, and puzzles. That's what she told me.
So specific.
She doesn't know what she wants.
But who says that? Like, who's...
She could have said, let's watch history. She could have asked, do you have Scrabble? There's things you could do. And this is another woman perspective thing over here. My type of woman, at least. That's where conversation matters. And it seems like she was not doing that enough, communicating. And both of you should have, if you were communicating, that is, you have to learn to read between lines or just listen harder. And a lot of guys want to say, what does that mean? You know, read between the lines. Well, it just means if she brings something up at random, that's what she's been thinking about saying for a while. I promise you.
Like praying for my food?
But see, no, that's not what she did. She didn't do that. No, she kept saying that, hey, I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I wasn't there. She probably expressed it in a certain way that Calvin probably should have thought, no means yes. But see, that's dangerous. And not only that, if she wants somebody that likes puzzles and history, which, there's nothing wrong with that. But let me tell you, I'm not about to sit here and try to figure y'all out all day, every day, because I just can't do it. Like, you are going to sit here and play mind games. I'm actually asking you, hey, would you like to sit down? No, I'm fine. Okay. I'm going to leave it at, because I don't want to argue. I already know what's going to happen, and you're going to keep bringing it up. Hey, I don't want to sleep with you because, all this, stuff. Later on, you might say you pressured me into sleeping with you. I wasn't ready. That stuff happens, and it's one of those situations where cultures are changing, and the views of what a man and a woman want is changing as well. Because kind of going back to the whole cooking thing, I know women, if you bring up, hey, do you cook? Why you think why I should just automatically know how to cook because I'm a woman? No. Like you said, Christina, I'm just asking a question. But see, Calvin also is getting, nutrition conscious. So like he's, cooking more. So I'm quite sure that's where that question came from. But if you just blow up like that, I'm like, okay. I mean, it's just a question. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So,
See, if I ask or if someone asks me, do you cook? I get excited because I like to cook. I enjoy cooking. It's a good time. And I like cooking dates. I'm very happy with things like that. So if somebody's like, oh, well, I don't cook, I'm like,
But see,
you just ruined my dreams.
Yeah, that's right. So, it sounds like this chick, and once again, this is when he told me this, I was like, abort. Because, dude, this would not work out.
Man.
Like, she had her.
I mean that he should know what she meant. When I said read between the lines, that's not your job to do.
No. Okay.
It's a dating tip. Just to kind of learn how to read through the BS and pick out what really needs to be done. And you just need to know characteristics of people in general to build this image that you need to protect yourself.
No, you said that she wanted me to be assertive, right? And I've had cases to where I was too assertive and it scared girls off. But then I know we can't read between the lines, but it's like, it's hot and cold. I'm like, how can you tell when to be assertive? Because I don't want to be that just, oh, shut up, B word, or I don't want to be that type of guy. But girls love that kind of guy. But I'm not gonna do that, because then all of a sudden, if I do it to the wrong person, then they could call the cops on me, and then all these years in my 20s in college goes away for nothing. So that's my biggest fear is I do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden it gets mistaken or misunderstood, and then all of a sudden, like Brandon said, I'm going to jail. Because culture has changed now.
Calvin grabbed a girl, he gonna leave a mark. That's evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So I
get ashy, and I'm mad now. We gonna fight.
All right, Lee, what were you saying?
But there's a real great way to gauge how a person is feeling about a situation or about a move you might want to make, and that's just to ask. Just ask, hey, can I put my arm around you? Or hey, can I kiss you? Or people kind of poo-poo the idea of you should just do the thing because it's more romantic. That's a Hollywood myth. Consent is a thing and it exists, and we should probably respect it. So, you're going to be asking 99 questions on that first date, but you're getting the feel for each other. That's part of it.
My thing is, at the first date, I knew she wasn't feeling it. I don't see why she wanted more. And then, I did make the move, Lee, and I did say, do you want to cuddle? She said no. So, that was my answer right there. She's not trying to do all that. But then all of a sudden, she's into it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. This has got to be. And me, I'm thinking maybe because I'm younger than her, maybe it was a mind game to play with me. Could that be the case, Christina?
No, it has nothing to do with it.
She just thirsty. She just wanted a little bit of fun. That's all it was.
And maybe because I'm sorry.
You got to be clear about that.
Yeah. And I think because where I come from, because she is a professional and makes way more money than I do, I thought that she would be different. But hey, I guess lesson learned, right?
Well, not only that, but like she said, like how she was, and that's why I'm saying like it really wasn't you, because like to go deeper into it, like everybody doesn't need to be in a relationship. Relationships are not for everybody. I tell my friends that. I've told you that. Like sometimes, you know, a person just can't want to share things. Some people just don't want to settle and change their lifestyle. You know, it's just not in them until a certain point.
And to piggyback on that, Brandon, I kind of deal with it myself. Some people haven't learned to love themselves.
Yeah.
And
oh my God!
I mean, it's taken me over like 30 years and like into my marriage to figure out, oh wait, I like me. You can't really get anywhere with another person until you get yourself.
Yeah. But I'm 29 and I just really got to that point. I'm okay with me, by the way.
Yeah.
Nothing to be concerned about by what I say in a minute. But that is one of the most true things ever. Is what Lee just said. Is you have to learn to love yourself first, and that's how you know who and what you're willing to deal with. But as far as relationships and things go, don't look for a relationship. It will happen. Like there are people that we went to school with for sure who you'd be like, why is this dude always in somebody's face? I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Leave her alone. Why is this happening? And that person just doesn't understand. That person's rejecting you. Yes, it's not the end of the world. Does not mean I gotta try harder. No, it just means you're like, all right, that didn't work. Let me just wait it out and see what happens. Who knows? Later on, you will probably come across a person who is perfect for you. Like, right. If you feel, I scared this girl off, I was a little too assertive, I just kind of tried way too hard and it turned her off for me. There's somebody out there who is 100% into that. Like Brandon was saying earlier, things may not have worked for you back then, but look where you are now. You have someone who is probably 1,000% perfect for you as far as drive, ambition, passion goes. You and your girl look beautiful together. I think that's the best ending for you, is her. I don't know what y'all's relationship is like, but looking in from the outside, y'all look like y'all gonna be a wonderful couple. I'm very excited to see. I'm like, y'all still ain't got married yet?
Wait, who you talking about? You talking about me?
Talking about you, Brandon?
Oh.
Yeah, you're slow cruising down out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fun, y'all.
It's hard for me to make a joke when you do that, because I was about to say, yeah, Christina turned me down a lot of times in college, so
ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you now.
Yeah. We're good, Some people just can't handle it.
Hidden secrets on the next episode. Straight up. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that was very insightful, and that's a good way to actually end the show, because that really gave me a lot of tips. And I want to thank y'all so much for being informational about this, because I was kind of lost, and I think that both of you hit it on hit the nail by saying that you have to love yourself first before you can do it. And like I said, I've been through a lot, and you can go back to our previous episodes to kind of hear my story. So I mean, this is just it's kind of hard to balance a career and a relationship, especially in my career field. So I'm at the point now. I'm really trying to do this, but I want to thank y'all so much. And then we're going to actually keep the conversation going online on all our social media platforms. If you want to follow us on the Straight Up Show on Instagram, and Facebook at Straight Up The Show, on Twitter, Straight Up D Show, and on YouTube, subscribe to our channel at Straight Up Show. If you want to look more specifically, type in Shreveport after that. But until then, I want to thank everybody for joining in. Brandon, thank you. Lee, thank you. And thank you so much to our wonderful, wonderful guest, Christina. You've been so great. We do miss you. And hey, and we want to invite you to come on the show some more.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining. Hey, if you have any more questions, concerns, criticisms, make sure you contact us. Let us know. Until then, we want to make sure that you always stay
straight up.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.